Yeah, came in here and climb up some boxes. Well, I could do that. That's what I have to do. Got a warp point.
Let's see what we got.
That last boss, the handgun, if you could get the headshots, that was good too. There's gonna be nothing else here until I do this.
You made it. You killed Harlow, right? Now, are you positive she's dead?
She told me everything, asshole.
What did you expect? That we tested in London or New York? Come on, don't be naive. We had to get information, data about how the virus mutates, how it evolves, if it's possible to control it. You can only do so much of that in the lab.
You out your entire mind.
We can discuss the morality of the situation later. For now, I have a ship and a medical team standing by. All of their equipment is state-of-the-art. And once we're on board, you have my word that we'll do whatever it takes to treat you.
I don't need you to get off this island.
I know you took a mutagen. I can see it plain as day. You can't control it. You can't stop it. If you want any chance of a normal life, you need to come with me.
Eat shit, sucko.
You'll see.
He's got a green name. I couldn't hurt him if I wanted to. Let's just go. Starting the cutter now means you and your friends leave. Well, in that case...
Let's see what we got here.
Pretty much done the side quests. Just continuous events. It's gonna be like when you go to the prison, no turning back. Let's go.
You can't leave me here! You fucking freaks! Get back here, you fucking freaks!
Well, does
You
one of
don't
them...
know what you're doing!
Does one of them have a knife? Looks like it went for the throat. They took the theater.
Thank you for coming back for us. I am so very sorry. I lost faith in you.
How are you feeling?
A-OK, Doc.
Never better.
I have a little headache, but otherwise I'm perfectly fine.
This Serper, yeah. He won't be bothering us anymore.
What about Harlow?
We couldn't help her.
Yeah, she decided to stay.
Authorities in Banoi and Palanai report that the crisis is over. Life is slowly returning to normal as rescue crews clean up the aftermath of the monsoon that swept through the archipelago. All travel to and from the region is still prohibited as the rescue operation continues. Rumors of a possible plague outbreak have been discredited as international relief organizations continue to assess the situation.
On my zombie train, all aboard, kill abroad, leave a bloody, soap the stain, won't play games.
It's like somebody turned on the team and everybody died.
You ain't scared. Yeah. Things that go bump in the night. Me.
Continue. That was it. So what are my thoughts on Dead Island Riptide? Well, it looks better. I don't like how the weapons, when you compare them, there's an option to compare weapons. You can't compare the base damage of the weapons. You can only compare the damage per second, which, although damage per second is a helpful, stat to keep track of, base damage at the heart of it is more important, because damage per second, you could be like wearing a quick weapon down, like wearing it out, lowering its percentage down until it breaks or gets below 50%. It doesn't take into account how long you'd actually be able to use it, or something like that. I don't like that. So when you compared compared the weapons, you couldn't do that. See, if I were to continue...
Hey, wake up. You all right?
What happened? The ship.
Get up. The ship's dead in the water. Can you walk?
I can try. Where am I?
Hal and I. But it's really not safe here on the beach. There's an infection. Some sort of plague.
Again? Fuck me, man!
The whole island's gone to hell.
Yeah, I've been there before.
We'll talk later. Right now you need to move. Head for the Paradise Survival Camp. Look for the big treehouse. You'll find other survivors there. Take this. In the meantime, I'll see if anyone else washed up on the beach.
Please tell me I have that in my hand.
This storm was a disaster.
No, I don't. So as I was saying... Let me just... Right, so if I were to click on... Yeah, let's compare... Well, really... Okay, yeah. Liquid Fire Staff. Compare that with the Magic Wand Sledgehammer. So, you know, here it says that the Magic Wand is, it's better in force and durability, but not damage per second. And that's very true. The Liquid Fire Staff, that is the quickest, you know, lay out the most damage in the shortest amount of time. But in this comparison menu, I can't see what the base damage is. And see, for Sam B, force is a big factor, because when you get them on the ground, you smash their heads in, you need the force. If you're attacking them from up high, force is really important, not just base damage. But the thing is, for Sam B, base damage is more important than damage per second, because with base damage plus force, that's where Sam B's like big, heavy, crushing attacks are going to come into place. Now, for the Asian chick, that one, damage per second is probably more important than base damage, right? Or force, for that matter. But if you really want to see base damage, you have to click on it and then inspect, and here you can see it. Well, with Riptide, I like the menus more. Like, I think if I went back to the first Dead Island, it would just feel so awkward after getting adjusted to this. And the PC version of Riptide, you can enhance it better with yeah, I think it's called like Dead Island Riptide Helper. There was a Dead Island helper, and then there was a Riptide one, and pretty much it just lets you use like better anti-aliasing and stuff like that. And plus, this game is I think came out in 2013, and Dead Island came out in 2011, so it is 2 years newer. So in general, it looked better to begin with, and then with the helper, it made it look even better than that. I mean, if you're going to use the helper, you would just want to, if anything, just use it to increase the field of view from I think it's like 60 something, and you increase it like an extra 15, 20 points. That's how you got this wide field of view.
Jesus, what a mess.
Feels nice on a wide monitor.
Hey, Is anyone there?
I think a lot of people don't like this game. Let me go to the map. Looked at it was either Metacritic review or the user review on Steam. Something that I don't like about this game, and I could see why people would hate this, is a big part of the game takes place in this swamp jungle, and if you take a boat, you just get wrecked by drowners. It just arouses them, and they just come and wreck you. Now, I know this game is meant to be played with, you know, a team, multiple people. I did this playthrough solo. Every time I went in here, unless I had to take a boat to like carry a water pump or some kind of engine, where it would take way too long to just hobble with it. Anytime I had to go in here to go to some place, I just walked, because the drowners wouldn't bum rush me and stuff like that. So the whole water aspect of having to wade through water, it's slow and annoying, and some people get butthurt over like, oh, this could have just been an expansion to Dead Island, you know? Why did it have to be its own separate game? I know when Left 4 Dead 2 came out, a lot of people were saying that, like, oh, way too soon, and this is too similar, and blah blah blah. And eventually they like incorporated Left 4 Dead into Left 4 Dead 2, and nobody cared anymore. I think I had less waypoint issues in this compared to the first Dead Island. You know, I think maybe it was easier to set waypoints and go to them. As far as there being a path to the waypoints, there was still some issues with that, and you go into like inside a building and you can't see the map, so you have no idea if wherever you're going, wherever your objective is, if it's on like a different level, a different floor, you know. So I guess that's like part of the game of like they don't want it to be too easy to find your objective, and you know, I pushed through it. So in this, the modified weapons, a lot of them, from what I could tell, they carried over from the first Dead Island. Like the magic wand, the heavy duty mod. Heavy duty mod, from what I understand, that's the best blunt weapon blueprint that you can use. The catch is you can only use it with a weapon called a metal cannonbow, which is, it's kind of like a metal bat, but you can only use it with that, and those are kind of hard to come by. I know at the end of Dead Island at the prison, there was a mission where you're rewarded with one, and I remember getting a purple one in my Dead Island 1 playthrough, and it was, you know, high level because it was like a leveled mission reward. And I built the heavy duty. Oh, actually, I couldn't build it there. I didn't have any wire, so I wasn't even able to make that until I completed the game and started a new one. I think that's how it went. But I liked how in this, it seemed like the modified weapons, they really helped against those special infected. Like the screamers and the thugs, the mutant troll, hunchback, oblong freaking trolls, whatever. It seemed like they did help. The fire, I don't remember the fire wrecking them so hard in the first one. Yeah, I'd have a hard time going back to the first one after playing this. Looks better, overall feels better, the menus are better. Missions, I didn't really find too many mission bugs. Oh, one last caveat about this game that kind of bugged me. So, the first main one was anytime you went through here in the swamp, it was really slow, playing solo, wasn't taking a boat, didn't want to get wrecked by drowners. That was annoying. Also, whenever I saved, whenever I would quit and it would, you know, auto-save or whatever, and then I'd come back, it was a bit unpredictable where you were going to come back from. Like, where you would start again. Like, you could quit right by a place where you would start a mission, like out here in the jungle. Like, somewhere like out here. Yeah, let's just say you've been playing for a while, and then you get out here in the middle of nowhere, and then you just want to stop playing, you just want to quit. Alright, so you quit out, you think, okay, when I come back, I'm going to be somewhere close to here when I come back, so I could just start the mission and go on my way. Well, you would quit, and then when you'd come back, you know, your mission would be like over here or something, and then you'd be like back here. And if it was early in the game, you may not have all the warp points and maps to help get you there sooner or quicker, I mean, but the thing, yeah, just coming back after you quit the game and it would save, where it would put you back, it wasn't always too convenient. It led to, you know, a lot of backtracking and stuff like that, and didn't really like that. All around, yeah, I would say Dead Rising Riptide. It's better than the first one. It's, you could say this is probably what the first one should have been more like. Yeah, the first one, the first Dead Island, it had like V-Sync issues. So this is what would happen. You play Dead Island like normal, and if you alt-tabbed or quit out of the game, and I don't mean close the game, turn it off, close the app. I mean, if you're playing the game and then all of a sudden, you know, someone messaged you on Skype, and then you'd alt-tab, and then you'd go to the desktop and leave the game temporarily to do something, or go on, you know, YouTube or something, go on Chrome. When you'd come back, V-Sync would be broken, and there'd be like serious tearing, right? Because if you had V-Sync on, that would be limiting your frames per second to what your monitor's refresh rate would be, which for most would be either 60 or 120. Well, when you'd come back, it wouldn't stay at 60. It would just go crazy. It would run your graphics card as hard as it can run the game, and you'd be getting, for me, I'd be getting like, you know, 130, 100 frames, you know, just overkill frames for what my monitor has coming from my 6870. The first Dead Island was not a hard game to run at all. I could totally see that running on, you know, very modest laptops from a couple years ago even. Looked like a pretty easy game to run. So, I think maybe Dead Island, that might have been the first game that I started to use frame capping software instead of using V-Sync. And it came with advantages, okay? In certain games like Arkham City and probably Arkham Asylum, when you use V-Sync, it makes the game a bit more choppy. It slows the game down a bit. It kind of holds your video card back. Now, it's supposed to do that because when you use VSync, the goal is you don't want the game to run faster than what your monitor does. but it would kind of make it just stutter when you use VSync in the Batman games especially. So with, let's say, Arkham City and Dead Island, those are good examples of games where you'd want to use frame cap software, whether it be, I think Fraps can do it. I think initially I did it with MSI Afterburner with Riva Tuner, but DxTory, Bandicam. As I'm recording this right now, I'm using Bandicam to cap the frame rate, and I don't have regular VSync on. I'm just using frame cap software. So yeah, you'd alt-tab out of Dead Island 1, it would break VSync. Kind of got me into using frame cap software, more or less. This one, Dead Island Riptide, does not have that issue, and I think a lot of people that don't like this one over the first, they might say, oh, this is too repetitive. Well, I think the first Dead Island was pretty repetitive. I think people would be upset with this just because it's more of the same, you know? They think it's too similar to the first Dead Island, so, you know, fuck that. But, I like this one more than the first one, you know? It's, you know, sometime after you do the prologue, by the time you do the prologue in this, where you're, like, on the ship out in the ocean, you know, you wake up, you know, you're on a ship, like you got Shanghaied or something, a Shanghaied British sailor in the Navy. You wake up there, after you do that prologue on the ship, by the time you get to where I am in the story right now, just doing like New Game Plus, where the chick gives me a knife and tells me the situation on the island, by the time you get to that point in this game, you're already used to how the interface in Dead Island Riptide is. The menus, you're used to a lot of stuff. Okay, so it doesn't take that long. It might take, you know, 2 hours or something. And I put in a good, you know, what, 40, 45 hours playing this. I did just about every side quest there was. I went into just about every dead zone, so I could do like every team. Oh, I don't have a team. Damn. It's because it's a new game. But yeah, I did like every team mission. That is one thing I will say about Dead Island Riptide. Don't forget to go. Don't skip the dead zones. You want to do the dead zones so you can get the rare items, and the dead zones are kind of repetitive too when you go into them. Especially when you get to the city towards the end. All the dead zones in there, they're all like these apartments that look exactly the same, which is kind of scary because it's like everyone lives in the same kind of place, like it's a big fucking honeycomb, like ant farm or something, like just insignificant peasants. Everyone lives in the same house. It's like communist and shit. So yeah, you don't want to miss the rare items that you get from going into dead zones, and you can fulfill these quests for people in your team where, you know, they're pretty much fetch quests in a way, but after you, especially the shopkeepers. So Trevor, he was the guy that sold blunt weapons. Do not forget to save 4 floater meats with Sam B. If you're playing with Sam B, you want 4 floater meats because that's like the second mission for Trevor. And there's actually this part where there's this guy where you're trying to save like his son who has like a fever, and you gotta like get some medicine. You gotta get like some tree bark for his son, and when you give him the tree bark, he's like, what the fuck is this? I can't save my son with tree bark. What the hell? What am I gonna do with tree bark? I suppose you would grind it up or something. It was he had like malaria. That was a thing, and this was I think it's called Cinchona. Some like Amazon tropical tree has this ingredient property that in its flowers or bark or something that can make a malaria treatment, a natural, medicinal malaria treatment. And that was a mission. And there's this guy where after you give him the tree bark, you can buy stingray tails and floater meat. Stingray tails are pretty freaking rare, so if you were gonna make something with a stingray tail, that would be a time to buy them, because he sells them maybe an unlimited amount, and they're not that expensive considering how rare they are. They might be just 1,500 or 3,000, but they're worth it. Yeah, so just don't forget to do these quests where you like empower people on your team and merchants in your team. When you do the merchant missions, they carry better quality stuff. So Trevor, I got 1 or 2 of my crowbars. The Sam B, you want high base damage, high impact. You want the crowbars. I only found 1 staff, and I was lucky it was a good one, so I was able to put that, flaming torch thing on it. Liquid fire. Yeah.
I'm looking for survivors. Hello.
Dude, there's no survivors. There's none. In conclusion, this is a better game than the first one overall. It's not perfect, but the first one wasn't perfect either. The first one had way more bugs, way more problems. This is a bit more polished. It's a good game.